Hello guys, this is Deepika from mytutorialrack.com. In the previous tutorial, you have seen the power of Rebase. With the help of Rebase, we were able to put together all the commits related to the about branch together, and also we did not do a merge conflict. We did not come across a merge conflict because what we did was we kind of put the latest branch or latest change on from the master on top of the about. So about has the latest branch changes, and now we are building off of those changes in the about branch. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how Rebase can also be helpful to alter the commits. Means if you want to go ahead and change your commits, then Rebase can be very powerful in that sense as well. To make you understand how Rebase can alter the commits, I will do some two unnecessary commits to make it more clear. In this tutorial, we will talk about this interactive Rebase, and I'll show you in a minute. And using this interactive Rebase command, we will be able to alter these commits and merge those commits into a single commit. Git Rebase not only lets you move branches around, it also enables you to manipulate the individual commits as well. So now what I'm going to do here is I will create a new empty file in the about folder, and I will call it as mary.html. So I'm going to go ahead and I will create a new file and I will save as mary.html, and this file is also under the about folder. And now I'll go ahead and check these changes in. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my bash prompt and I'll say git add about. So whatever the changes I made in the about folder, it will go ahead and will get added here. So if you look at the status, you will see that there is a file that has been added here, mary.html. Now I'm going to go ahead and commit these changes. So go ahead and say -m, and the message I'll say is added the empty HTML page for Mary's bio. So this is the message that I have used. And now if you go ahead and look at the log commit history, you will see that these are like individual commits, and let's say I wanted to go ahead and get rid of these commits. Now before that, let me also do another commit here, and in this I will go ahead and edit my index.html page, and I will add a new link for the about page. So in this index.html, this particular index.html does not have a link to the about page. So I will go ahead and add that link here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these changes. And instead of in orange.html, it will say about folder. Inside the about folder, there is a page called index.html. And then here the name would be about us. And this will take you to the index page under the about folder. So this will take you to the index.html inside of the about folder. So now if you wanted to go ahead and look it up in the browser, you can go to your index.html and you'll see that there has a link for the about us has been added, and if you click on the about us link, it will take you to this index page inside of the about folder. So now let's go ahead and add these changes as well. So we're going to go ahead and commit this using a single command, git commit -a-m add link to about section in homepage. So this is the commit that I have done. So now as you can see, as I told you, I have done some two unnecessary commit. I have added a link in the index.html to the about page, and I've also added a file called, if you see here, the file called mary.html, which is a complete blank file. It does not have anything at all. So these are the commits that I've done. So now what I'm going to do is, using Rebase, I will go ahead and clean up my commit. So we'll clean up this commit history. So if you go ahead and look at the commit history one more time, you'll see it looks a little messy. It has a lot of comments, etc., commit messages, etc. Now I wanted to go ahead and clean these commit messages. So how we will do that? Using Rebase. So before we think about merging these about changes or about development changes into the master, it's better we have a clean, meaningful history in our feature branch, means in our about branch, before we commit it to the master branch. By rebasing interactively, we can choose how each commit is transferred to the new base. So there is a command here to interactively change or change this commit history, and you go ahead and say git rebase -i flag. This I stands for interactive, and we'll go ahead and say master. So this is the command to change the commit history. So we go ahead and enter here, and it'll open up a user window where user can make changes. Now, as you can see here, the P is the use commit. So this is right now is the commit messages that you can see, and these are from older to the new commit. So if you see on the top, it is the first thing that we did, add empty page in about section. This is the first commit that we did in the about page, about folder. Then we added the contents to the about page, added the HTML page for the personal bio, etc., etc. So now what I'm going to do is, if I wanted to go ahead and edit one of the commit, okay, or if I wanted to go ahead, these are the commands that you can use. If you use the pick, you will go ahead and use that commit. So we are satisfied with that commit. If you say reword, means if you want to edit a particular message, you write a reword in front of that. If you want to edit a particular commit, okay, and also you want to manually stop it for amending, means if you want to make some changes, you can go ahead and use edit. So what will happen is the git will stop at that point, and you go ahead and you'll make your changes, and then it will continue from there. Squash is use the commit, means I'm happy with the commit but meld into the previous commit, but you kind of put together into the previous commit. Fix up, this is command is also very similar to squash, but what it does is it discards the commits log messages. Exe is basically the run command using shell, and drop is to remove that particular commit. So now let's say if I wanted to go ahead and make the changes in the second commit here. So I'm going to go ahead and first insert it, means I will be able to make it insert by, if you want, you can do shift and I. Using this particular command, you will be able to edit this window here, and I'll go ahead and replace it with squash. So what I'm saying here is, using the squash, I'm saying but meld into the previous. So I'm kind of joining these first and the second commit together. So instead of two different commits, I'm putting them into one commit here. So next thing I wanted to go ahead and change is this one as well. So what I'm doing here is I'm telling go ahead and merge these two commits together, this one as well as this one together. So I'm going to go ahead and merge these. As you can see here, the squash command use the commit but meld into the previous commit. So it's going to go ahead and condense into the previous commit. So these are the changes I've done. I have, instead of using a pick, means instead of saying that I'm satisfied with these commits and go ahead and proceed, I said, okay, I wanted to go ahead and merge these two commits together and then these two commits together. So I'm happy, I'm done with my changes, and I'm going to go ahead and say escape from the insert mode, and then I'm going to go ahead and type in, I'm going to go ahead and save and close this. And now this has been successfully done. So now as you can see, this is a combination of two commits. So first thing is add empty page in about section. So since we have joined the two commits, because we were having 5 commits in the about section, after the command that we did, means we have used the squash, we have merged the two commits. So if you wanted to go ahead and make any comment change, you can always go ahead and do that. So let's say right now it says add the empty page in the about section. Instead of this, if I say created the empty page, so we can go ahead and say created the about page. So if I wanted to go ahead and say create, so instead of showing this commit message, I'm going to go ahead and change this message to create the about page. So now if I go ahead and save this, I'll come out of the insert mode and type in WQ, save and exit. So now it stops at the next place. It tells you, so now you have the second, this is a combination of the two commits. The first message is add the HTML page for the personal bio, and the next one is add the empty HTML page for the Mary's bio. So which commit are you interested to take? Here I can go ahead and come back in the insert mode, and I can say after this line, I can say this is the message I wanted to go ahead and use, and you can say begin creating bio pages. Okay, so now we have done with this. So now we have kind of changed our commit messages because we have merged the commits. So instead of the 5 commits that we were there in about earlier, about folder, now you will only see 3 commits because we have merged the two commits. Okay, so now if I'm happy with the changes, I'll escape out of the insert mode and then save and close. Okay, so now we have successfully rebased, and we have changed the, so you can see it'll say created the about page, and also it'll say begin creating the bio pages. So these are the commit messages that I've updated. Now if you go ahead and look at the history here one more time, you will see that now you only see 3 commits related to about page. The first is create the about page, next is begin creating the bio pages, and then we added the link to about section. But from the number 5 commits, we kind of condensed into 3 commits using the rebase. So what we did here is we used a command called as interactive rebase, and with the help of interactive rebase we were able to merge our commits together, and also we were able to successfully provide a different commit message, and by this way we have kind of cleaned up our commit history. The 5 commits that we made in the about section we condensed into 3, and notice that now they have different commit IDs. So if you go ahead and type it one more time here, you will see that the earlier commit ID is different than the new commit ID. So if you go ahead and look at these messages ID here, this is different than what was previously doing the interactive rebase. These new IDs tell us that we did not just move a couple of commits, but we have rewritten our repository history with brand new commits. So this is how the rebase is very popular to clean up your commit history and to make it more sense out of these commit messages instead of some random messages. So what we did here is we condensed and cleaned our commit history. We have merged our changes in single commit. So instead of the 5 different commits, we were able to only get to 3 different commits, and we have also seen how to change those commit messages.